up your engine! Today I'm going to show you why you don't want to hit things while you're driving down a highway and run over stuff, and what to do if you do have to run over something because cars are everywhere and you can't swerve out of the way. Now my customer inherited this 2002 Lexus ES300 from his father. So it's a typical old man car. Things have been bumped into. Paint's still in decent shape till you get to the back. Then you can see. Things have been bumped into a lot, and somebody did a really crappy job. They fixed it using Bondo and stuff. You gotta go down to the bare plastic and then repaint the whole thing to do it right, but you know, that's repairable. The car itself is totally solid. And it only has like 112,000 miles, which is nothing for one of these Lexuses. As we look under the hood, it's got the ultra dependable V6 24 valve variable valve timing Lexus engine. These things are virtually indestructible. As we look inside, it's got the ultra dependable 5-speed automatic transmission. And it may be 19 years old, but check it out. Still immaculate interior, great leather seats, lots of room in the back. He was going down a highway, he couldn't avoid something, and he had to run over and had a clunk. And ever since then he hears noises, it doesn't feel right. He hit something right under here, right front towards the center. So let's jack it up and take a look. Now we can see the fog lamp got broken, and here's the fog lamp receptacle. So we'll just wire it up here so it doesn't hang anymore. In case he wants to put it back, he probably won't, but we'll just disconnect it. We can keep the piece, and we'll fish the wire up. Now we'll get one of these twist ties. We've got it sitting there, and we'll just tie it on. As you can see here, we got the twist tie around it. We'll make it tight. Now it won't go anywhere. Then just get a pair of clippers and cut the excess off so it doesn't flap around. You don't want it hitting stuff. There, that's the end of that. Now we'll look all over the place. A few scrapes here and there, but there's nothing that's particularly broken. The plastic undercarriage is gone, but even my wife's car's missing too. It's all plastic crap. It doesn't do much. We don't have to worry about that. That's structurally sound. Now we'll check the tires. So we'll go inside, put the emergency brake on, which is down here, then turn the key and put it in neutral. Now it's in neutral, as you can see. We'll also roll the window down so when we close the door, we don't accidentally get locked out. You don't want to look like a fool. I've done it in the past. Get the key on, roll the window down. Then you can't get locked out. See if there's any kind of play. No play, no play. Now we'll spin it around and check it. There's no unevenness in the tire. It's all smooth. And when we look at the top of the suspension strut, it's not broken or anything. It's not cracked. Look at the other side while we're here. Same thing, it's not broken. No cracks. And looking inside, the strut's dry, it's not leaking. Like I said, there's supposed to be a bunch of plastic stuff in there. That's gone, but it really doesn't serve that much purpose. You can drive without it. Now sometimes when you hit something, the tire will start to lose air because either it got punctured, warped, or it started to unseat itself from the rim of the tire. So let's check the tire pressure. Now this is called tire pressure. Always has to do with temperatures and driving conditions. So we're going to compare the two front ones. This one is 31.5 pounds. And when we go to the other side, we'll see how much pressure's in that. Turn it on. 32 pounds. That's pretty close. So we'll let a little out till it's 31.5 like the other side. There we go. Now it's 31.5 too. A small pressure difference like that is basically nothing, but now they're exactly the same, so we can watch them. And if it does start to lose pressure over time, perhaps the tire was damaged, but it doesn't show that it is. We're gonna take it for a road test now to see how it goes on the highway. Now down goes the hood. In we go, put in park, start it up. Typical Lexus, starts right up. Freezing cold air conditioning, and away we go. It may be 19 years old, but it still goes smooth, shifts good, and is quiet. But we want to get it going on a highway to see how it does at high speeds. Now we can get it rolling. And no odd sounds, it handles good, corners good, no shaking. You got lucky, because as fast as you go, look, no shaking, still handles good. It didn't do any kind of serious damage. It even takes the bumps. Doesn't make any noises, cornering's fine. You go down the little bumps, shock absorber's still working great, rides nice and smooth. So there's no serious damage that was done, luckily for him. The only real damage is that fog lamp still works and that one's gone, and a little bit of scratching. That's a big advantage of a solid, heavy built car like this 2002 Lexus ES300. It's got so much steel in it that it can take some damage and not really be bothered. If this would have been some chintzy Fiat 500 or a Chevy Cruze, it probably would have bent the lower control arm and it wouldn't steer right, but this thing is solid. All it did was basically break the fog lamp on the passenger side. Who uses fog lamps anyways? Not that big of a deal, really. No, yeah, there always comes a time when you're going to have to hit something, because if you're on a highway and all of a sudden something falls off a truck that's in the way, you can't swerve because there's people everywhere. But that's a big reason you want to look ahead, like they taught me when I was learning how to drive. Just don't look in front of you, look ahead. My father said to me, he says, you're a really good driver because you look ahead. Your sister, she's looking right in front of her. She doesn't know what's going on down the road. She just looks right in front of her. And that causes problems at high speeds. Always look in front to see what's happening. If you see people are getting out of the way, there's a problem in that lane, get ready to get over before you have that problem come up on you and you got to run over something. Because it's certainly better to avoid obstacles in a road rather than run them over. Because you might not be as lucky as the owner of this Lexus and only break a fog lamp. And here's some bonus questions and answers. Okie says, this weekend I'm getting a 98 Lexus LS400 from a co-worker. I'm getting it for free and it was parked outside for 4 years. It threw the timing belt 4 years ago. I know I have to sink money in it. Now, what do you think I should do? All right, I think you should run away from that Lexus. The timing belt broke 4 years ago. They got quad cams. They're very expensive to work on. The parts of Lexus are insanely outrageous. That's just how those things are. And I mean, you're going to get a used engine. Who knows if it's any good? Think about Lexus. They're great cars when they're running. When they don't run, you don't want to mess with it like that. Don't even think about rebuilding it. That's way too much money. And if I were you, I'd run away from that car. You don't want that as a project car. You want a project car, look for a 300 series, the V6 ones. They're basically the same engine as the Camry, and the parts are cheaper, and you can get stuff for them. But the V8s, no, you don't really want to mess around with that thing. And the parts cost so much on a Lexus engine, especially those V8s. I just walk from it. Don't even think about picking it up. Broken Corolla says, I got a 97 Toyota Corolla. It doesn't have any spark. I tried the plugs and wires and stuff. I worked on enough of those. Buy a distributor. And don't buy a rebuilt distributor because they're crap. Sometimes they don't work or they work for 6 months and break. Buy a brand new distributor. Now, you don't have to go to Toyota and spend a fortune. Aftermarket companies have been making brand new distributors for those things for ages. I personally buy mine at a company called BAPGEON, B-A-P-G-E-O-N. They get brand new ones, and they usually cost me today about maybe $190. You just bolt the old one off and bolt the new one in, mark where the timing was, and away you go. They just flat wear out. It's a 97. It's old. Old stuff breaks. It wears out, and don't put rebuilt stuff because they're rebuilt like crap. You want to keep the vehicle, put a brand new distributor. And I've fixed hundreds of them over the years that way. I used to try to fix them myself. But when they're that old, you don't want to mess with fixing the part. Just replace the whole distributor with a new one. Even my 94 Celica, it's got a brand new Chinese-made distributor in it, and it works fine that way. Well, now that New Hampshire, the live free or die state, is the first state with flying car regulations, the race is off for someone to actually build a flying car. Now, there aren't any yet in the United States, but there's a company in Boston that's working on it. As you can see, it's called Terrafugia. Now, it was founded in 2006 by MIT graduates, and if you look at the picture, it really isn't a flying car. If you look at it, it's an airplane that's been modified to drive on the road. You can see it pretty much looks like an airplane. It doesn't look like a car. They've modified an airplane with fold-up wings and stuff so that you can drive it on the road and then unfold the wings, kind of like the World War II fighter and bomber planes they put on aircraft carriers so they could fit more of them in, make the wings that fold up. Same basic idea. It's not, of course, in production yet. And, of course, like flying cars in general, Terrafugia, which calls it the transition flying car, says that it's 6 months to a year away from being delivered. But they've been saying that for the last 10 years, so who knows if it's ever going to come to fruition. In 2008, Popular Science said the first transition will fly in November. Customers will have them by the end of 2009. Well, this is 2020 and they're still not out, so this isn't that small of a company as it's evolved, because even though it started out with these guys from MIT. Terrafugia is owned by Geely. That is the gigantic Chinese car manufacturer. So, who knows? Maybe they will. So, now New Hampshire allows flying cars to be driving on their roads. They can't take off and land on the roads, of course. But nobody builds one that you can buy yet. So, we'll see how that pans out 10 years from now. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.